commission of this painting that was slashed. The self-inflicted switchblade wounds but rescued from the trash. Paid for us by grace. Dug up plants of the garden. All in art in the gallery. Children turned out as vandals, finally returning home.
Hipsters. I want to understand more about what you're doing. Now, in the 60s, we heard a lot of protest songs, songs against war and so forth and so on. This is not exactly that, is it?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think it goes a little bit deeper than a lot of that. Of course, there's a lot of fad tied up in that even at the time. It was only skin deep, really. And I'd say the religious element's certainly something that offers a little different perspective on a lot of those issues. We try to tie them into larger things. But we also write some love songs, too. I wouldn't like to exclude those from our repertoire.
Right. Okay. It is not exactly, though, the kind of music you hear that is specifically evangelical Christian, where you hear about sin and salvation and conversion and all those things. The references are there, the biblical allusions, but it's a little softer. Is that a fair way to describe it? What do you think, Dick?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily softer, but we try to present a balanced viewpoint of, and it's just personal growth, and religious aspects are certainly an important part of that with us. And there's also the aspect of fitting into society and all the other things involved in personal growth.
Does that include all the members of your group? Are they all into this kind of music? Is that why they're here?
Well, I think that they can relate to enough of it to certainly stand on stage with us. No, they don't share specific perspectives on religion. So
the four of you might have four different points of view in terms of specific beliefs about religion.
Even serious disagreement in some cases, but I would say that's a great statement for religious tolerance as it is, that we get along and can stand up and present what we have in common.
It's interesting to me that your music has drawn so much attention. I know you've done some records that have been played widely as far away as England and all over the United States, and as far west as, you know, the far west and so forth. You've performed in such diverse places as Pittsburgh and New York, and so the music is catching on. And a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people talk about your music. What does that indicate to you? Where are we today? We're not back in the 60s, certainly.
No, but I think there's a great deal of hunger for something more in a song other than singing about your 16-year-old girlfriend. Rock and roll music has grown up with a whole generation. People are over 30 at this point, and they really can't stand to hear those same old songs. It's too juvenile.
Shadoobie Doobie Ding Dong is no longer enough for today's...
Right, it's nostalgic. I think we find often that we get a little, we draw in some of the older people.
Yeah, the older people are generally the first to respond, particularly as we're building our audience. I think it's because there's a sort of a marketing gap in popular music. The record companies seem to think that soft rock is the ticket for older people, but there's a lot of people that grew up on rock and roll and want good rock and roll with some substance, and they have a hard time finding that.
And there's a lot of music around where the words don't make any difference at all, because the music is so loud that you can't you can't hear a word that's said anyway.
Oh, that's true. We have a very diversified crowd. It goes from older people over 30 who'd given up on rock and roll, who came and heard us and liked it a lot, and then we'd have some kids with mohawks and purple hair who occasionally show up and like it too. So.
It's interesting, if anybody could predict the direction music is going in the next 5 or 10 years, they'd make a lot of money, because you know, there's a lot of money to be made in that, and it's interesting that this music that you present is having so much appeal. I wonder if it is an indication of that we're coming back to music that has a little bit more meaning and more depth and more thought to it than before.
Well, yeah, I would hope so.
We're in trouble if it doesn't.
You
always go back to Shooby Dooby Ding Dong.
We can retire.
Yeah. But, you know, like I was saying before, there is a big gap, I think, and there are a lot of people, we found a lot of people hungry for the kind of thing that we're doing.
So. This thing, too, that two generations can sit down together and listen to the same music. That hasn't happened for a long time. Yeah. The older people don't have any idea what the young people see in the music they listen to sometimes, and vice versa. And this, as you say, can appeal to a couple generations at least.
That's right. I think that a lot of modern music tends to, as Dick's pointed out, leave people over 25 out. But of course, 25 years ago wasn't that far. That was 1960.
We want to hear another song by the Hipsters, and we're going to run out of time real quick. The next one is called?
It's called The Rumors of War. This one's been written by Dick. It probably shows some more of our political or social side of our music.
Yeah. Okay, we'll let you take us out. Thanks for joining us. The Hipsters on Taking Notes.
Like a herd of cattle. But tell me who are the men who are riding in the saddle, spreading rumors of war all across this land. Rumors of war no one really understands. Rumors of war. Lost control of the production of the gasoline, just to power our machines. Oh, they've taken all the shine from the American dream, and now they want to kill it. The rumors of war, 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 war all across this land. Rumors of war, 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 war no one really understands. Rumors of war. Someone gets the bread deal like a light bulb in the socket to preserve the status quo and let the rich man line his pockets. Start the rumors of war, war.